Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about the power of action. Not just any action, but the kind of action that happens when you force yourself to move, even when you don't feel like it. Because the truth is, success, progress, and growth, they don't wait for anyone. They belong to those who are willing to push past comfort and take action every single day. Discipline is often described as the bridge between our goals and the achievement of those goals. It's what separates those who talk about what they want from those who actually get what they want. But here's the thing about discipline, it's not glamorous, and it's rarely convenient. In fact, discipline often feels like the exact opposite of what we want to do in the moment. It's choosing to show up, choosing to put in the effort, even when the comfort of doing nothing seems so much easier. That's the essence of discipline. It's the willingness to act regardless of how you feel, because you understand the importance of commitment over convenience. Think about some of the greatest achievements in human history. Every monumental success story, whether in science, art, business, or sports, is underscored by an individual's or a team's unyielding commitment to discipline. They didn't just act when they felt like it, they forced themselves to work, to create, to push forward day after day, regardless of circumstances. Motivation might have started the journey, but discipline sustained it. Motivation is a great spark. It's what often gets you to dream big, to set ambitious goals, to start something new. But the spark of motivation doesn't last forever. It's temporary, and it can be unpredictable. Discipline, however, is like a steady flame. It's consistent, reliable, and unwavering, especially when motivation fades. A common misconception about discipline is that it's something you either have or you don't. But discipline isn't an innate trait, it's a skill that can be developed over time. It's like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Just like building physical strength in the gym, building discipline requires regular, consistent effort. You can't expect to wake up one day and have unshakable discipline. It's built through small, deliberate choices that may seem insignificant on their own, but accumulate into something powerful. Every time you choose to follow through on a commitment, even if it's something as simple as making your bed or sticking to a plan, you're reinforcing your discipline muscle. You're training yourself to act, even when you don't feel like it. It's crucial to understand that discipline isn't about being harsh on yourself or forcing yourself into a joyless routine. It's about prioritizing long-term rewards over short-term gratification. Discipline allows you to look beyond what's easy in the moment and focus on what will bring you closer to your goals. It's the ability to say, I'll do this now, even if it's uncomfortable, because I know it's leading me towards something meaningful. This perspective shift is essential. When you view discipline as a tool that empowers you rather than a restriction on your freedom, it becomes something you embrace rather than resist. What often gets in the way of discipline is our focus on feelings. We tell ourselves we'll work on our goals when we feel ready or feel inspired, but waiting for a feeling is one of the biggest traps that keeps people stuck. Feelings are fleeting, they change with the wind. One moment you might feel motivated to tackle your to-do list, and the next you're tempted to procrastinate. Discipline doesn't rely on feelings, it operates independently of them. It's a choice you make to stick to your commitment, regardless of how you feel in the moment. By choosing discipline, you're taking control of your actions rather than letting your emotions control you. One of the most valuable aspects of discipline is the sense of pride and self-respect it brings. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you build trust in yourself. You start to see yourself as someone who is reliable, someone who honors their word. This self-trust is crucial because it fuels your confidence and reinforces your belief in your ability to achieve your goals. On the other hand, when you constantly give in to comfort or delay action, it chips away at your self-esteem. You start doubting yourself, and that doubt can be paralyzing. Discipline creates a positive feedback loop. The more you stick to your commitments, the more confident and capable you feel. Discipline also has a way of making difficult tasks easier over time. The first few times you push yourself to act, it may feel like a struggle. But as you continue, what once felt challenging becomes routine. This is the beauty of discipline. By consistently doing the hard things, you make those things easier. The resistance lessens and the action becomes a habit. Before long, What once required a tremendous amount of willpower becomes second nature. This is how you create lasting change. You're not only working toward a specific goal, you're reshaping your behavior and building a lifestyle that supports your growth. Discipline is about creating a life of intention. It's about deciding what matters to you and then aligning your actions with those values day after day. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because in the end, discipline isn't just the path to success, it's the foundation of a life lived on purpose. And there is no greater reward than knowing that every step you take is moving you closer to the life you've envisioned for yourself. So, embrace discipline not as a burden, but as a tool that empowers you to become the person you want to be. Change is a universal desire. Everyone wants something to be better in their life, whether it's their health, finances, relationships, or career. However, real change doesn't happen just because we intend it or wish for it. It happens when we act. Intentions are powerful. They're the seeds that spark our dreams and goals. But just like any seed, an intention needs to be nurtured, supported, and developed if it's ever to grow into something meaningful. Without action, intentions remain idle thoughts, ideas floating in our minds with no real impact. For anything to truly change, we need to bridge the gap between wanting something and working for it. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You might have the best intentions for that seed to grow into a beautiful tree. But if you don't water it, provide sunlight, and ensure it's protected from harsh conditions, that seed won't stand a chance of growing. It's the same with our goals and dreams. Good intentions are the beginning. They're the reason we get excited about new projects, resolutions, and aspirations. They set the direction we want to go. But for that excitement to transform into something tangible, consistent actions are required. Action is the nurturing process. It's the sunlight, water, and care that allow our dreams to take root and grow. Many people make the mistake of believing that because they have a clear vision of what they want, they're already halfway there. But the truth is, a vision without action is simply a daydream. The world is full of unrealized ideas, unwritten books, and unpursued goals. What separates those who achieve from those who don't is the decision to act on their vision. Taking the first step is often the hardest part, but it's also the most critical. That initial action sets everything in motion, turning an idea into a journey. It's easy to say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll wait until I'm ready, but tomorrow often turns into next week, and ready is a state that might never come. Life is full of distractions, unexpected events, and excuses that can easily derail even the best intentions. But when you decide to take action, even in the smallest way, you start to build momentum. That momentum is powerful because it shifts your mindset from planning to doing. When you start taking small steps, you begin to see progress, and that progress fuels more action. There's also an element of accountability that comes with taking action. When you keep your goals as intentions, they're safely tucked away with no risk of failure. But the moment you start acting on them, you expose yourself to challenges, obstacles, and potential setbacks. This might seem intimidating, but it's exactly what makes the process valuable. Every action you take forces you to adapt, to learn, and to grow. It's through this process of action and adaptation that real change occurs. Change doesn't come from staying in your comfort zone. It comes from stepping out and actively working towards something, even when it's difficult. Another powerful aspect of action is its ability to clarify our goals. Sometimes what we think we want may not be what we truly need. By taking action, we test our intentions and gain a better understanding of our desires. For instance, you may have the intention of starting a business. At first, it sounds exciting. You imagine the freedom, the potential for success. But when you start taking action, researching, planning, setting up operations, you may realize that the reality of running a business is different from what you imagined. Or you may find that you love the work and want to commit even more to making it successful. Without action, this insight wouldn't be possible. Acting on your intentions is how you get to know yourself, your values, and your true aspirations better. It's also important to remember that every action, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Big changes are intimidating because they often seem like insurmountable mountains to climb. But taking small, consistent actions breaks down that mountain into manageable steps. Each action builds upon the last, and before long, you've covered significant ground. Think of it like laying bricks. One brick on its own doesn't seem like much, but brick by brick, you build a strong foundation. Similarly, Every small action you take strengthens your commitment, builds your confidence, and moves you closer to the life you envision. The journey of acting on your intentions is transformative. Not only do you move closer to your goals, but you also build resilience, patience, and adaptability along the way. These qualities are essential for any kind of lasting change. Change isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. But each action you take, no matter how small, is a step forward. And with each step, you're training yourself to persevere, to stay focused, and to keep going even when challenges arise. If you have a vision, a dream, or an intention, don't let it stay in the realm of someday. Take the first step, no matter how small it may seem. Start building the habit of turning your intentions into actions, and allow those actions to reshape your reality. The path may not always be smooth, but it will always be worth it. Because in the end, it's not our intentions that define us, but the actions we take to bring them to life. Fear is a natural response that everyone encounters at some point, especially when standing on the edge of something new or challenging. It's the mind's way of alerting us to potential risks and unknowns. Yet, fear can easily become one of the most significant barriers to achieving our goals if we allow it to dictate our actions or inaction. Often, fear causes people to stay stuck in place, preferring the comfort of the known to the vulnerability of taking risks. But there's a powerful truth about fear: it diminishes the moment you take action. Moving forward, even if it's just one small step, begins to weaken the hold that fear has over you. And over time, with every act of courage, fear becomes less intimidating, clearing the path for growth, confidence, and change. When we first confront fear, it often appears like an insurmountable wall standing between us and our goals. But in reality, that wall isn't as solid as it seems. Fear is like a shadow. Its size and intensity depend on our perception. It grows larger and more overpowering the more we focus on it, but it begins to fade as soon as we take action. This doesn't mean that fear is irrational or unfounded. Fear often has roots in genuine concerns or uncertainties. However, the real issue isn't fear itself, but the way it holds us back from even trying. Taking that first step, no matter how small, is often all it takes to see that the wall is more of an illusion than a real barrier. One of the most powerful things you can do to counteract fear is to understand it. Often, we fear the unknown more than the actual challenge itself. If we're facing a new project, a career shift, or a personal goal, fear of failure, rejection, or inadequacy can create a paralyzing effect. We start imagining the worst-case scenarios and convincing ourselves that we're better off not trying. But when we break down what we're afraid of and identify the specific fears, they often lose some of their power. We can start to see them as smaller, manageable concerns rather than overwhelming obstacles. Imagine you have a dream of starting your own business, but fear keeps you from taking the leap. You may fear losing financial stability, failing to attract customers, or not having the skills to succeed. But by acknowledging each fear and addressing it step by step, you can create a strategy to move forward. Instead of seeing the fear as a single, all-encompassing threat, it becomes a series of smaller questions to answer. How can I save money to have a safety net? What can I learn to improve my skills? Who can I reach out to for guidance? By breaking down fear into actionable steps, you're not just reducing it, you're actively moving through it. Action is a powerful antidote to fear because it creates momentum. Think of fear as being at the top of a steep hill, looking down with hesitation and doubt. But the moment you take a step forward, gravity, the momentum of action, begins to take over. That initial push might be the hardest, but each step builds upon the last, making it easier to keep moving forward. Inaction, on the other hand, keeps you at the top of the hill, focused on the fear rather than the possibilities. When you take action, no matter how small, you begin to replace worry with experience, fear with familiarity, and anxiety with confidence. This confidence is not something that appears overnight. It's built through a series of courageous acts. Each time you confront a fear and take action in spite of it, you reinforce your ability to handle difficult situations. You begin to understand that fear doesn't have to be a stop sign. Instead, it becomes a signal that you're venturing into territory that matters, a reminder that you're growing and stretching beyond your comfort zone. The more frequently you push past fear, the less intimidating it becomes, and soon you start viewing challenges not as threats but as opportunities to learn and improve. Another important aspect of overcoming fear through action is the sense of self-respect and accomplishment it brings. Each time you act in the face of fear, you're proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you initially thought. This builds resilience, the inner strength to confront challenges without retreating. Resilience isn't built in the absence of fear, but rather in the presence of it, by continually choosing to move forward despite the discomfort. Each act of courage builds your mental and emotional endurance, equipping you with the tools to handle future challenges with greater ease. Taking action also reshapes your identity. Rather than seeing yourself as someone controlled by fear, you begin to identify as someone who takes bold steps and confronts challenges head-on. This shift in self-perception can have a profound impact on all areas of your life. When you start to view yourself as courageous and capable, that confidence spills over into everything you do. You approach relationships, goals, and decisions with a stronger belief in your ability to succeed. This transformation isn't just about overcoming fear, it's about becoming a more empowered, capable version of yourself. Fear is not something to be entirely eliminated, it's a natural response that will always be part of life. But through action, you can reduce its power, manage its influence, and prevent it from standing in the way of your goals. Every time you push through fear with action, you're reminding yourself that you are in control. That fear is only temporary, and that growth is waiting on the other side. So the next time you feel fear holding you back, remember it's not about eliminating fear, it's about choosing to act in spite of it. Because each act of courage, no matter how small, creates a ripple of positive change that brings you closer to a life of confidence, resilience, and fulfillment. Building momentum through small wins is one of the most effective strategies for achieving long-term success, yet it's often overlooked. When we set big, ambitious goals, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer size of what we want to accomplish. But big goals are made up of smaller steps, small, manageable actions that may seem insignificant on their own, but build on each other to create powerful momentum. These small wins might not feel monumental in the moment, but they're essential building blocks. With each one, we're reinforcing our belief in ourselves, gaining confidence, and laying the foundation for larger achievements. This steady progress is what keeps us moving forward, especially during challenging times when our goals feel out of reach. Momentum is a powerful force in any journey. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small and takes some effort to get moving, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, growing larger and faster with each turn. The same principle applies to our goals. When you achieve small wins, you're building a psychological momentum that propels you forward. These wins validate your efforts, proving that you're capable of making progress. They give you something to celebrate and remind you that you're moving in the right direction, no matter how far off the ultimate goal may seem. This sense of accomplishment is essential for maintaining motivation over the long haul. One reason small wins are so effective is that they create a feedback loop of positivity. Each time you accomplish a small goal, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This dopamine release reinforces the behavior, making you want to take further action. It's a natural form of encouragement. Your brain starts associating progress with positive feelings, making you more likely to continue taking those small, consistent steps. The result is a habit of action and achievement. Instead of focusing on the daunting end goal, you become invested in the process, finding joy and satisfaction in each step along the way. Another powerful aspect of small wins is their ability to create structure and consistency. When we focus solely on big goals, we often feel like we're in a waiting game, anxiously anticipating that one big break or achievement. This mindset can lead to burnout and frustration, especially if progress is slow. But small wins provide us with milestones, mini goals that keep us engaged and committed. They give us regular checkpoints that prevent us from getting lost in the enormity of the task. With small, consistent actions, we're not just hoping for a big payoff. In the future, we're actively building toward it every day. And each small win reinforces our commitment to the journey. Small wins also make the process of pursuing goals more enjoyable. When we break down our ambitions into smaller steps, we can focus on making progress without the pressure of perfection. This is important because perfectionism often holds people back. The fear of not achieving the end goal perfectly can lead to procrastination and self-doubt. But with small wins, we focus on improvement rather than perfection. Each small achievement builds confidence, and that confidence makes it easier to take the next step, even if it's not perfect. This shift in focus from I need to reach this big goal perfectly to I'm making progress, step by step, creates a more sustainable and fulfilling journey. Small wins help build resilience. The path to any significant goal is rarely straightforward. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when you've established a pattern of small wins, you're better equipped to handle challenges. You have a history of progress to look back on, proof that you've been able to overcome obstacles and keep moving forward. Each small win becomes a reminder of your ability to push through difficulties, reinforcing your resilience and strengthening your resolve. This resilience is crucial because it prevents you from giving up when things get tough. You've built a habit of achieving, so even when progress slows, you know you're capable of picking yourself up and continuing on. Small wins also provide an opportunity to learn and refine your approach. When you take large steps or aim for massive changes all at once, it's harder to identify what works and what doesn't. But small wins offer immediate feedback, allowing you to assess each step and adjust accordingly. This process of iteration makes your efforts more efficient over time. You become better at identifying strategies that yield results and dropping those that don't. This adaptability not only improves your progress, but also builds your confidence in navigating challenges. As you accumulate small wins, you're also accumulating knowledge, skills, and experience that make you more effective and resilient. Celebrating small wins gives meaning to the journey. Often we become so focused on reaching the destination that we forget to enjoy the process. But each small win is an opportunity to pause, acknowledge your effort, and appreciate the progress you've made. This act of celebration is not about self-indulgence, it's about honoring the commitment and courage it takes to pursue something meaningful. By recognizing these small victories, you remind yourself that success is not a single event at the end of a long road. It's a series of achievements, each one valuable in its own right. Small wins are more than just incremental progress. They're the fuel that drives long-term change, the foundation of resilience, and the stepping stones to a bigger vision. They keep you engaged, motivated, and confident, proving to yourself again and again that you are capable of growth and achievement. So as you pursue your goals, focus on those small wins. Embrace each one as a sign of progress, a reason to keep going, and a reminder that you're steadily moving closer to the life you want to create. Each small step is a victory, and those victories, however small, are the foundation of extraordinary achievements. Accountability is a crucial ingredient for anyone serious about achieving their goals. Without it, even the most determined people can find themselves wavering, delaying, or ultimately abandoning their plans. Accountability is the practice of holding oneself responsible to follow through on commitments, goals, and actions. But often, personal accountability is not enough. Involving others, mentors, friends, family, or accountability partners can make a substantial difference. When we share our goals with others, we create an external sense of obligation to follow through, a kind of social contract that reinforces our commitment. This is a powerful motivator, helping us overcome procrastination and providing us with support, feedback, and encouragement along the way. In many ways, accountability can be the difference between staying on track and letting goals slip into wishful thinking. One of the most effective ways accountability helps us is by creating a sense of commitment. When we share our intentions with others, it moves our goals from being private thoughts to public commitments. This shift has a psychological impact. We naturally don't want to let others down or be perceived as inconsistent or unreliable. By sharing our goals, we add a layer of responsibility. We feel a stronger urge to stay on track, knowing that someone else is aware of our goals and our progress. This social pressure, while subtle, can be a powerful motivator, particularly on days when our personal motivation might be low. Accountability provides us with a regular check-in system. If you have an accountability partner or are part of a group that meets weekly or monthly to discuss progress, those check-ins create a natural rhythm. Knowing that you have to report your progress to someone else encourages you to take consistent action. This regularity is essential for building habits and making steady progress. Just as deadlines can drive productivity, knowing you'll need to update someone on your progress creates a sense of urgency. It helps you break down large goals into smaller, manageable tasks that can be completed within each accountability period. Over time, These small, consistent efforts lead to significant progress. Another essential benefit of accountability is the support system it creates. Pursuing challenging goals can be an isolating experience, especially if you're tackling something big or difficult, like starting a new business, getting in shape, or learning a new skill. Having someone who understands what you're going through, who's invested in your progress, can provide an invaluable sense of camaraderie and encouragement. Accountability partners, mentors, or even supportive friends act as sounding boards. They can offer advice, share their own experiences, and provide insights that help you navigate obstacles. This shared experience can make all the difference when you're facing a tough patch or feeling unmotivated. Knowing that someone believes in you and wants to see you succeed boosts morale and makes the journey feel less daunting. Accountability partners or groups can also provide constructive feedback, helping you stay on the right path. Sometimes in the pursuit of a goal, it's easy to get sidetracked or lose perspective. We can become too close to our work or our routine to see what's not working or what needs to be adjusted. An accountability partner can offer a fresh perspective, highlighting areas for improvement or pointing out things you might not have considered. This feedback is not about criticism, but about course correction. With someone else's input, you're more likely to stay aligned with your goals, correcting any missteps early on before they become bigger issues. This guidance can make your journey more efficient, saving you time and effort and ensuring you're moving in the right direction. In addition to feedback, accountability also helps us track our progress, making our achievements more tangible. It's easy to feel like we're not making headway if we're only focused on the end goal. But accountability partners or groups often encourage us to reflect on what we've accomplished, not just on what remains to be done. These reflections are incredibly motivating because they remind us of how far we've come, not just how far we have to go. By celebrating small wins along the way, accountability helps build momentum and keeps motivation high, even during periods when progress might feel slow. One of the most overlooked benefits of accountability is the impact it has on building self-discipline. When you're consistently showing up, reporting your progress, and reflecting on your actions, you're training yourself in discipline. Over time, this discipline becomes a habit, and that habit strengthens your self-control and work ethic. You start to rely less on external motivation and more on your internal drive to follow through on commitments. The structure that accountability provides helps reinforce this discipline, which becomes an invaluable asset, not only for the goal at hand, but for all future endeavors. Accountability also gives us the opportunity to build resilience. When you have someone to share your setbacks with, those setbacks feel less discouraging. An accountability partner can remind you that setbacks are part of the process, offering encouragement and helping you strategize a way forward. This support makes it easier to bounce back, fostering resilience. You become more adept at handling obstacles because you're not facing them alone. This sense of partnership makes it less likely that a temporary setback will cause you to abandon your goal. Instead, you're more likely to see setbacks as learning experiences and opportunities for growth. Accountability provides a sense of accomplishment that's both shared and celebrated. When you reach milestones, having someone to celebrate with adds depth to the achievement. You're not just celebrating alone, you're sharing the joy with someone who understands the effort you put in and the challenges you overcame. This shared celebration reinforces the positive aspects of pursuing goals, making the journey feel rewarding even before the ultimate goal is reached. Accountability isn't just about reporting to someone, it's about creating a support system that fosters commitment, discipline, resilience, and ultimately success. By sharing our goals with others, we increase our chances of achieving them, building a journey that's not only focused on reaching the destination, but also enriched by the support, feedback, and encouragement we gain along the way. Developing self-discipline and consistency is the backbone of making progress and achieving long-term success. While motivation can provide a spark to start, it's self-discipline and consistent action that fuels sustained growth and lead to meaningful results. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through resistance, setting aside distractions, and staying committed to your goals, regardless of external factors. Consistency is the commitment to keep taking action over time, steadily working toward your goals day in and day out. Together, self-discipline and consistency create a powerful synergy that makes almost any goal attainable, no matter how challenging. One of the main reasons people struggle to achieve their goals is because they rely too heavily on motivation alone. Motivation is often fleeting. It's influenced by mood, circumstances, and energy levels. Some days you might feel energized and ready to tackle your to-do list, while other days the desire to take action is nowhere to be found. If your progress depends solely on motivation, you'll find yourself making strides only when you feel inspired. The problem with this approach is that it leads to inconsistent efforts, with bursts of productivity followed by long periods of inactivity. This kind of start-stop pattern isn't effective for making steady progress and often leads to frustration and discouragement. Self-discipline, on the other hand, doesn't rely on how you feel in the moment. It's a learned skill, a commitment to act regardless of emotional highs or lows. Developing self-discipline means building the habit of following through on your intentions, even when the initial excitement has worn off or when the task at hand feels daunting. It's about establishing routines and sticking to them, making your actions habitual rather than based on temporary feelings. For example, if your goal is to write a book, self-discipline is what will make you sit down to write a page each day, even when you don't feel particularly inspired. Over time, those pages add up, and the book begins to take shape. By developing self-discipline, you eliminate the ups and downs of waiting for inspiration and instead create a stable, reliable path toward your goals. Building self-discipline also strengthens your ability to delay gratification, which is crucial for long-term success. In a world full of distractions and instant rewards, it can be tempting to choose short-term pleasures over the delayed satisfaction of achieving a significant goal. Self-discipline is what allows you to say no to those distractions, to resist the urge to procrastinate or indulge in temporary pleasures, and to stay focused on your higher priorities. It's the force that helps you turn down a night of binge watching in favor of working on your side project, or to push through a workout when you'd rather be relaxing. By consistently making these small, disciplined choices, you're reinforcing your commitment to your goals and strengthening your resolve. Each decision to stay disciplined makes it easier to continue doing so, creating a positive cycle that builds momentum. Consistency goes hand in hand with self-discipline. While self-discipline helps you start, consistency is what keeps you going. Many people start strong but lose momentum because they don't maintain a regular effort. Consistency isn't about doing something perfectly every day. It's about showing up, doing the work, and making progress, even if it's incremental. The compound effect of small, consistent actions is what leads to real growth over time. For example, if you're learning a new skill, practicing for 20 minutes every day will yield far better results than practicing for 2 hours once a week. Those 20 minutes may seem small, but over weeks and months, they add up to significant progress. To build consistency, it's essential to create routines and systems that support your goals. A well-structured routine makes it easier to incorporate your goals into your daily life. It removes the need to decide whether or not to take action each day, as the action becomes part of your schedule. For instance, if you want to improve your physical fitness, setting a specific time each day to exercise eliminates the need to negotiate with yourself about when or if you'll work out. By sticking to a routine, you reduce the mental energy required to stay on track, making it more likely that you'll follow through consistently. Self-discipline and consistency also help you push through challenges and obstacles. Any significant goal will have setbacks, whether it's a slow period, a lack of visible progress, or unexpected difficulties. During these times, it's easy to feel discouraged and consider giving up. But with self-discipline and consistency, you're better equipped to handle these obstacles. Instead of giving in to doubt or frustration, you rely on your routine and keep taking small steps forward. Each time you persevere through a challenge, you strengthen your resilience and increase your confidence in your ability to overcome future hurdles. Self-discipline and consistency transform setbacks into stepping stones, turning what might otherwise be stopping points into opportunities for growth. Developing these qualities gives you a sense of control and ownership over your life. Self-discipline allows you to take responsibility for your actions and outcomes rather than leaving them to chance or circumstance. Consistency reinforces this sense of control as you see the results of your steady efforts over time. By regularly taking action toward your goals, you're not only building a foundation for success, but also cultivating a sense of personal empowerment. You come to realize that you have the ability to shape your future through your choices and actions. self-discipline and consistency are the silent forces behind every lasting success. They may not be glamorous or immediately rewarding, but they are reliable and effective. Each day that you act with discipline and consistency, you're investing in yourself and your goals, creating a steady upward trajectory that leads to real, lasting progress. Developing these qualities takes time and effort, but the rewards are well worth it. With self-discipline and consistency, you're not just achieving your goals, you're transforming yourself into the kind of person who achieves goals, who follows through, and who builds a life aligned with your highest values and aspirations. In the end, taking action isn't just about moving toward your goals, it's about transforming yourself into a person of resilience, purpose, and commitment. By forcing yourself to act, regardless of how you feel in the moment, you create momentum and open doors to growth and progress that would otherwise remain closed. When you leverage small wins, cultivate accountability, and consistently build self-discipline, you're not just checking tasks off a list, you're building habits and a mindset that enable long-term success. These steps build on each other, reinforcing your resolve and deepening your commitment to the life you want to create. The most successful people aren't those who never face doubt or setbacks, they're the ones who keep taking steps forward, no matter the obstacles. They don't rely solely on fleeting motivation, they build a foundation of discipline and consistency. Each action, however small, becomes a vote in favor of your future self, casting aside the limits of the present moment and bringing you closer to the goals you envision. So take the first step, then another, and keep building forward. When you act in spite of doubt or discomfort, you build a life that reflects your highest aspirations, one step, one win, one day at a time.